Dear brothers and sisters, we live in a time when everybody has his own idea about Christianity, about gospel, and we wonder what is the right way. Of course, we know in the Protestant world there are thousands of different congregations. Everybody is reading the gospel, but has different idea. What does it mean to be a true Christian? Eventually we come to the Orthodox faith, which gives us the true faith. But even within the Orthodox Church, it may be very difficult to find the right example or spiritual guidance that will help us to become true Christians. And there are many reasons for that. Okay. One of the reasons is that we are selfish and we don't really want any guidance. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is that we are lazy. When we know that we need to read the gospel, we need to pray, we need to fast, we don't do it. And another reason is that there are few spiritual pastors, and there are not so many Orthodox Christians who give us a vivid example of Christian life. Now, in this time, in our day and age. And with all these difficulties, it becomes especially difficult to become a good, true Christian and to have a right worldview and to have the right life, holy life. And to overcome this problem, we look at the examples of saints. However, most of the examples are ancient saints, okay, the most famous examples. And we perceive it like a fairy tale, like a nice legend about great heroes who lived thousands of years ago, and they had, prayer, I don't know, for 80 years on a pillar or other things like this. And we think, well, it's not for me. I mean, yes, I appreciate this is great, but what does it mean for me? To help us overcome this problem, there are the new martyrs of Russia. And actually China also has new martyrs, but much fewer, and we don't know much about it. It's 222 new martyrs of China who were martyred in Beijing in 1900. Today I want to say about the new martyrs of Russia. And we don't really understand, and we don't have really, most of Orthodox people, including Russians who are Orthodox, don't have a deep appreciation and the feeling and appreciation of the new martyrs. And there are many reasons for that. Okay. Very often when we talk about new martyrs now, we have this secular perspective that we don't really get. Why are there martyrs? Okay, well, it was a political change, new government. They were not in line with the new policy, so the new government, the Bolshevik government, of course, persecuted, destroyed them, as political rivals, obstacle, and this is political thing. This has nothing to do with Christianity. Unlike the early martyrs who were asked, "Do you believe in Christ?" "I do." "Okay, we'll kill you." "You do betray Christ." "Yeah, you can betray Christ." "Okay, you can go." So when people had this choice, of course, yes, he died for his faith. He died for confession of loving Christ. However, things are not like this. Okay. Today I want to maybe just begin, just give you some clue of how to think about it. And I really feel that understanding the new martyrs of Russia can help us understand what's going on right now, okay, to give us a better worldview. And a part of the reason why many Russians now support the war that's going on is because they don't understand the new martyrs of Russia. They don't understand what happened, okay? And they might even think they are Orthodox, but they are fooled. They are still deceived by Antichrist, who was behind the Bolshevik government and who is still behind most of the government today. Okay, because what's going on now, the two sides is both playing the same game. Okay, I've talked about it before. All right, so to understand why they were killed and why they are important for us, let's begin from let's look at the reason. Okay, I can tell you that it was just a reason. It was just not the true the true reason, motivation for killing them, but it was just a political trick. Okay, it's just a formality that the Bolsheviks used to kill them. These political accusations. It was not the real reason behind these persecutions, because we see how many tortures and satanistic joy they experienced when they were doing it. Okay, and many of the murders were there were rituals about those murders, and it was with great zeal they were destroying the churches and the clergy and everyone who was in those churches. Okay. So what was the true reason? The true reason behind all this big movement, this Red Terror, which began right after the revolution. We know revolution was October 25. On October 31st, the first priest was killed, was martyred near Petrograd. Okay, and then we have until 1939 or even 1942, that's when the persecution really ended. We have about 300,000 priests alone persecuted. And we have about, 5 million or more regular Orthodox faithful who were killed. Of course, not everybody was a saint, okay? By now we recognize roughly give or take, 2,000 new martyrs by names. Okay, there is a commission for canonization, 2,000 people. Of course, it's much more than 2,000. Okay, I think maybe at least a half of those who were killed by Bolsheviks were martyrs, were saints. Why were they killed? Why did this brutal episode took place in Russian history? The reason, the true reason, is Christianity. When we read the diaries of people who lived in those days, when we read about these instances of killing people, we see that it was Christ whom they were chasing out from Russia. Okay. It was not monarchism or capitalism or something else. No, it was Christ they were fighting with. And I can give some examples. Okay. Well, first of all, I'll explain. When you have a Christian worldview, when you have a Christian behavior, you sacrifice yourselves for others. You love your enemies. You cannot support the communist idea, the Bolshevik idea, that you hate exploitators, you hate other classes. Okay, there is this strife between classes that produces progress and stuff like that. You don't believe in that. You don't buy that. And people like this, with this worldview, they are an obstacle. People who go to church. No, there must be no church. It must be, if people go and pray in the church, they will not support this idea of bright future, that we will build a paradise on earth. They will not buy into it. But the idea is that the whole population, the whole society has to support this kind of stuff. So you can imagine, the government, totalitarian government, they want to have this society like this. Anything that doesn't fit into that, they have to get rid of it. The best way is just to kill, to torture, to kill, to produce terror, so that everybody else is scared to death. And whoever can escape, just flee from the country. So this is a very good notion for us these times, because if we most of the Russians who live today, we Ukrainians, Belarusians, it's all one for me. Okay, most of us, we are descendants of the people who either support this socialism, communism at some point, or would not openly disagree. Okay, so you had to sort of recognize this. So it's most of us, we belong to those who chased Christ away. Okay, so if we don't understand, then we cannot fight the spirit of Antichrist, which is still in Russia now. We cannot really understand who is good and who is bad and what's going on. Okay, we cannot really trace it. Even though today's government, they don't, of course, they're not Soviet, they're not communist, but they inherit many things from those times, many things. And this spirit of Antichrist is okay. You can find him in many shapes and forms. Okay, it's not only a Soviet, it's not only a Bolshevik, but now we're talking. Let's talk about Bolsheviks. Okay, let's talk about the Soviet guys. Okay, so this ideology, this this brought people to materialism. People have to love, okay, well-being. Okay, it was not your personal well-being, the country, but still it's materialistic. Okay, production, economics, okay, technology. It's all about materialistic well-being in this world. This is the highest value. Everything else is garbage. Okay, if you don't buy into it, you're out. Okay. Also, you don't trust your neighbor, your family, nobody, because they can give you over. Okay, to as a, you know, as someone who is against the government, if you make a joke or something else. So this is the principle. You can only trust yourself. You cannot trust anyone else. So breaking up, no one else can unite to be against the government. Okay, this separation between people become really suspicious. Okay, they were broken, like spiritually, morally. And this all goes against the Christian values and Christian life and the gospel. Okay? So, these are just some few thoughts, few examples. There are many other things that the Bolsheviks introduced, which we still have until today. Okay? And we have it everywhere now in the world. Okay? It just took this socialism. It was just one tool that was used, and Russia fell victim to become like the instrument of this tool. Okay, so Antichrist is using different tools and different times and ages and locations. Okay, so that was just a very bright example how he sort of showed his face, who he is. So the people who were, most of them, those who were persecuted, those killed, destroyed, those are who tried to go against not the government. They went against the anti-Christian things which came into the society. Or some of them, they didn't even do anything. They just wanted to live Christian life. But no, it cannot be tolerated. Okay? So this anti-Christian machine of destruction was created. And whoever fell into this machine was killed. Okay? So of course people are weak. So many people who went into who got into this death machine, they gave up. They started to cooperate. They started to accuse others, and okay, they were broken, and they did not become saints. But some stayed faithful to Christ till the end, to truth. And Christ said, "I am the truth." They loved Christ, they prayed, they lived a Christian life. We read it from their diaries, from memoirs, from whichever is left after those terrible years. We can see many examples. Okay, the whole machine was anti-Christian. There is one village, a priest was killed by the Bolsheviks. His wife died of pain and suffering, and two small children were left. Okay, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old, and the whole village was afraid to approach these children because they are children of an enemy of the nation, and you will be killed if you help an enemy of the nation or his children. So the two small little innocent kids, they were left like that in the cold, in the winter time, and they could not, I don't know, nothing, no food. They were locked in the house. Okay, they were told not to go outside, not to create any problem, and they were just dying there. Okay, sometimes people at night secretly gave them some food. Eventually they were about to die. Okay, they were all sick, they were all dirty, they were sleeping in some hole in the ground, and eventually one of them was taken by some employee of the government facility, some kind of organization that was collecting such kids, but they could take only one. So the another one was just dying there, and the one distant relative of that priest, she came, young woman, she came, took this child, and took him somewhere into another village, okay, to care for him, and that was her death accusation. She was prosecuted and killed by the Bolsheviks for doing that. So it's you see, it's just a basic human logic. Okay, it's not even high Christian values. It's just even basic human compassion that was going against this satanic government. And you want to say that it's just political. It's not political. It was anti-Christian in nature and trying to destroy Christianity. And this is what happened. This is what happened. So from the example of these people, these new martyrs, who stayed till the end and who died for faith, it was Christ in Russia who was martyred on Golgotha. So we can learn a great deal from these people, how they looked at the world, how they understand how to pray for the enemies, what is going on, what is communism, what is capitalism, what is society, what is globalism, east, west, and many other things. We can understand much better if we look at it through the prism of life of these modern saints. So it is, I highly advise everyone to read more about the new martyrs of Russia, to find some martyrs that you especially like and read either their diaries or maybe something they wrote, to know more about them, to ask them for prayer, to appreciate what does it mean to be a true Christian in the modern world, and how to fight the evil now, both in us. Evil is both within and in this world. Not to be dragged by social media, mass media, by the spirit of this world, no matter which party they belong, right, left, whatever, green. No, it's all dragging us astray. Let us be faithful to the Lord. Let us feel that we don't belong to the spirit of this world. Let us see how harmful this spirit could be, distance ourselves from it, and to be in the company of these new martyrs. To be faithful, loyal to Christ, even till the end, till the death, if that might be needed. May the Lord help us and give us His blessing and teach us to live according to His Spirit, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of holiness. May the Lord be with you. Amen. God bless.